guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Monday evening for Paper Pumpkin Live. Very excited to be here. As always, let me check in to make sure that I'm where I need to be while I kill some time. So we here in Wisconsin, February is almost gone. I don't know how, when, or why that happened. Looking at March at the end of this week already, cannot believe it. But the weather here has just been absolutely crazy. We have had 50s and 60s, we have had 20s and 30s, and like cold, windy, snow. And then the day after snow, we have like sun and all the snow is gone. Like it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. But anyways, the weather makes no sense. That's just how it is. I think that's the one thing you can rely on, is the weather never making sense. So, all right, there we are, which is great. Please share this video with your friends, throw a like. We love engaging and interacting with you and all your friends, so we'd love to share that. Now, I'm going to do my due diligence and share this with my mom so she can watch. And we are making, so the kit we have today, Sweet Springtime, February 2024. So that's exciting. It really, like I said, the weather here, it really does feel as though it's a spring, even though we are just in February already. But I don't know, I can't even. It's just so crazy. My 2024 is off to a whirlwind start. Don't have the time for all of that, but it's been a year already. So we're doing well. We're hanging in there, doing the best we can, and taking it day by day. So let's get back here so I can see my comments. So hello, Susan from Florida. Hello, Elaine from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. You know all about our weather. Hello, Randy from Southwest Michigan, and Gina, thank you. Jenna Helms, thank you. We were just communicating with you. Chris and I were collaborating on trying to get a couple things knocked out before the live this afternoon. Hello, Diana from Ohio. Oh my goodness, there's a fruit fly. And hello, Randy. Thank you. Hello. I already said hello to you. Thank you for liking and sharing. We sure appreciate it. So how is everyone doing? I hope we are having a great day. It's Monday, so Monday's behind us. I mean, that's always a positive, although I will say I have off on Mondays, so Mondays aren't the worst for me. My work schedule is pretty much Tuesday through Saturday, so Mondays really aren't that bad for me. But I have been using a lot of that time to get some stuff done. I've been cleaning and organizing around the house, which has been great. It's that spring cleaning feeling, except for it's not spring yet, but the weather is sure making it feel like it is. But anyways, so I got a couple things to show off because we are heading to the end of February, which means sale-a-bration is nearing the end, and the sign-on special is coming to an end. So right now the special for joining Stampin' Up, joining the Be Happy Stampers, which trust me is a gift in and of itself, but the gift with sign up that is currently going on is this beautiful glass mat workstation. It's got the measurements in English and metric, and I just love these floral elements. So nice glass surface top, and also then the silicone surface, and Chris just showed this off to me, this chamois type cloth for cleaning your surfaces off and for cleaning, I don't know if it's for cleaning your stamps too. Anyone who, wants to educate me on this, because I didn't even know this was a thing. And Chris was like, yeah, you get all three. And so anyways, it is time to join the Be Happy Stampers, because look at all these beautiful incentives, and I just got that fruit fly. Haha. Hello, Jeannie from Pennsylvania, and Penny Powell from sunny Florida. Oh, I'm jealous. And Krista, sorry. Okay, my vision is not so great, but good morning. So we, of course, on this side of the globe are looking at evening, but good morning from Australia. Very exciting. So I just got these new glasses at the beginning of the year, and I love them, but I am convinced that the last 2 years my prescription has not been accurate. And last year I was brave and bold and went back and said, I think the prescription here is not working how it's supposed to. And this year I just don't have it in me. I have too many other things going on. It does work the best when they're perfectly positioned on my eyes. Of course, that's where they put the prescription, but I just can't get them to be, I cannot see very well with them. And I have very poor eyes to begin with, so my distance vision is terrible. I can see about 3 or 4 inches in front of my face without my glasses on, and that's about it. So seeing these names, oftentimes I'm guessing what it says because I can't see that far even with my glasses on. So unfortunate. Thank you so much, Deb. I have gotten so many compliments on these glasses. It was a little bit of a gamble. They're a little bigger than I was hoping. I have a kind of dainty frame and a small face, and these glasses are not small. But I love them. They bring me so much joy and happiness, and they bring a lot of other people joy and happiness too, because I get compliments on them all the time. I work at a children's museum, and the other day, I was working on Saturday and I was working the desk, and a family came up to the desk, and a little 3-year-old girl, was kind of, and our desk, they kind of look up at me, and she was talking to her mom, and then all of a sudden she looks up and she's like, oh, I love your glasses. And it just warmed my heart. I was like, oh my goodness. The small ways that you can spread joy, it is incredible. And I love these glasses so much. They bring me so much joy and spread the happiness to everyone around me. So, hello, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Well, without further ado, I think it's time to dig into this paper pumpkin. So, let's take a peek at what we've got. We have a specialty box this month. So, we've got, let's not make it more challenging than we have to. All right, so we've got beautiful spring colors, and I love the watercolor look to the bunny and chick. I am all over watercoloring. It is my favorite form of art, so I always incorporate that in my stamping as much as possible. Okay, so here's the stamp set that we got this month. Of course, it's got the bunny, the chick, and some daffodils. And then in lieu of sentiments, we have Happy Easter, Springtime Greetings, and Welcome Baby. So those are such nice stamps. We also got a Stampin' Spot. This month we got Early Espresso. And then in the kit, all right, look at that. Ooh, I'm a fan. Okay, Sweet Springtime, February 2024. So we've got some gingham, and then it looks like we have 3 treatsy bags and 3 each of 2 different card designs. This is, I don't know if it's going to be a money card, but it's not a traditional size card. And then this, I think, looks to be a traditional card. So let's crack that open and figure out what we actually do have. All right. All right, so this month we have some twine and tear and tape. We also have these matte white embellishments, glue dots, and dimensionals. We got all the adhesives this time, and I'm going to take them out right away. This kit is so cute. I agree, Deb. It is really cute. I haven't even thought about the alternative yet, but the gears are going because it is so cute, and I love the gingham, so I think we're going to have to do something cute with that. Sorry, I just used cute like about 8 times in one sentence. All right, let's lay out all our goodies over here. Trying to be organized. It's not as easy as it looks. Okay, so here are our card bases for the 1 card. So yes, this is not a traditional size. We have 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. So that's that. Here are our treatsy boxes. They look like milk cartons. Oh, that is super cute. Let's put those over here. A couple die cut elements, or laser cut elements, I guess I should say. Here we have our unique envelopes, the unique size card envelopes. Thank you so much for sharing. Hello, Sherry. All right, then we have our standard size envelopes as well as our card bases. Wow, huge fan of that right off the bat. And some more laser cut elements. So what I like to do right off the top is go ahead and get these laser elements punched out. Chris taught me many, many moons ago that if you just keep them all nice and tightly arranged, that you can pop them all out at the same time, which is great. So we're just gonna pop out a whole bunch of daffodils right away. And then we'll get the bunnies and chicks out, which are so cute. I can't believe, like, we're thinking and talking about Easter already. Easter is, of course, so early this year. At the Children's Museum, I work in a lot of different areas, but one of the main areas that I work in is planning our special events. So we have an annual Easter extravaganza, and that is at the forefront of my mind right now, getting the details together for that. It is always such a fun event. Wow, I'm struggling. Oh, I know, I wish Paper Pumpkin was international. It is one of my favorite products of Stampin' Up's. Okay, so then we have this beautiful floral wreath, which has a lot of dainty elements to it. And of course, we need to punch the middle out too. All right, and last but certainly not least, we've got this frame, which I didn't realize from the picture has some grass sprouting out of it, which is cute. There's a lot of dimension to the standard sized card, which I think is going to be so beautiful. Hello, Marcia, and greetings from Ohio, Jeannie. Jeannie? Jeanne. I'm guessing that's Jeannie. So I work with a Gina, which is Jeanna. So I struggle. I used to spell her. I always said it right because she's actually, she's been in the news for years and years and years. She was the first person to survive rabies without the vaccine when she was in high school. And she's very close in age to me, so I remember it vividly. So the name, Gina Giese, is a name that I've known for probably 15 or 20 years, however many years ago it happened. And so I always knew how to say her name, but I always spelt it wrong. But now I've worked with her for about 1.5 years, and we even share an office. Love her to pieces. She is such a sweet girl. But yeah, so I'm guessing, yes, Jeannie. Okay. There's my tangent about your name, or close to your name. Oh, that's right. Okay, so here is the image of the artwork for the stamps. So I'll put that over here with our stamps. Okay, now let's check what we got going on. So, of course, we already looked at what we're making. Flip it over. Here are the kit contents. We just went through all of that. Kit contains supplies for 6 cards and 3 boxes, and our coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors this time are Berry Burst, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Early Espresso, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Pecan Pie, Petal Pink, and Very Vanilla. So let's go ahead. I'm going to bring in just a few more supplies here. All right, and if you're with me for the millionth time, you've heard this now for the millionth time, so thank you for sitting and listening. Every month, Paper Pumpkin sends you a Stampin' Spot. The color does not repeat in a 12-month time period. So this month we have Early Espresso, which means for the next 11 months we for sure will not get Early Espresso. I do, however, always bring in my own classic Stampin' Pad because the Stampin' Up! Stamp pad that they sell in the catalog comes as a foam pad, and I like, first of all, it's larger, but I like the texture of stamping on a foam pad more than on the fabric pad of this. Of course, if you don't have all of the supplies or don't have this particular color, you absolutely can use this. It 100% will do what you need it to do to get the project done. So don't fret about that. But that's why you're going to see that I brought in my own supplies for that. And then I also do bring in my own block. The first time you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you will get a D-size block in your kit, and that can be used universally on all Paper Pumpkin kits. All the stamps that come with a Paper Pumpkin kit are guaranteed to fit on a D-size block, so that first time you subscribe and get your block will be the only thing that you need from there on out for Paper Pumpkin. I do, however, bring in my own block from the catalog because it does have rounded edges and it's a little thicker. It's a little more ergonomic in your hands. But again, you are totally fine. If you have zero stamping supplies, you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin and have everything you need to make beautiful cards and projects. All right, so let's get rolling. So starting right off the bat, we are going to stamp Happy Easter on the Berry Burst banner. And so I'm going to mount that on my block. I don't know if it does anything or not, but I always like to stamp the stickiness off. And then go ahead and lay down your banner and get out your stamp pad. All right, Happy Easter. And then we're gonna stamp that just centered on the left portion. So I'll give you a closer up view of this in just a second. Woo! That is a beautiful stamped image. Let's see, where is my chamois? I don't know that that's a cleaning chamois. Okay, we'll close your ink pad because that's essential. Okay, so the stamped image looks like this. So we're gonna have Happy Easter on the left side and the tail falling off to the right. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this new light setup. Don't want it to be dark or shadowy for you. Okay, so there's that piece. I'm gonna quick grab a chamois. So I can clean off my stamp, and that's all the stamping we have for this first card, so that's exciting. Okay, then we are going to bring in the frame that we delicately punched out, and we're also going to grab a card base. Card base is pre-scored, so go ahead and grab your bone folder and give it a nice crisp, clean seal. Then these black dots indicate places where they recommend you use glue dots. If you've been here before, you know my rant about glue dots. It's just not really my thing. I love using liquid glue, so I'm gonna grab my liquid glue. Now, I will warn you, liquid glue is a liquid, so it can go anywhere, which you just need to be much more careful on such a dainty little piece. Whereas the glue dots don't seep because they are contained within the shape of that glue dot. So be warned about that if you choose to use liquid glue. It's a risk I'm willing to take because I just don't like glue dots. They serve their own purpose in this world, but that purpose is not for this intent, in my opinion. Okay, so now it is going to mat the exterior of the card. So we're gonna set it in just a smidgen. Okay, lay that down. Then we're gonna bring in a whole ton of flowers and our banner. So here is our banner, and we're gonna grab our dimensionals. Looks like, so now these hexagons are the intended spaces to put our different dimensionals. So it looks like we've got 3 on the back of the banner, and the banner is going to go in the headspace. So I'm going to do that one right away, and then I'll bring in the daffodils. Okay, so we are anchoring the tails on top of the white frame over here, and then just centering the remainder over there. So that's perfect. And then we have 2 of the circular daffodils and 3 of the open daffodils. And we need dimensionals, 1 each on the back of each of those. And then as far as I can tell here, it's a little difficult to tell exactly where these go based on the drawing. They kind of tried to put drop shadows behind them so that you could tell. Basically, they're just going on the flowers and filling in over here. So we're going to take a flat, and by flat I just mean the flowers are flat and the cone comes up. We're going to take a flat one and mount it down here. We're going to take a circular one and put it in the other bottom corner. Now, when you're doing these daffodils, I would do your best to be aware that there is a top and a bottom, especially to these circular ones. So the cone faces up for a daffodil. So you're going to want to make, and actually in this instance, it is up and tilted to the right is how they are directing us. And then another flat one, which is going to be directed this way. Okay, then we have an open daffodil, or so the circle one as I am saying. Again, make sure that you have the cone facing up. And then last but certainly not least, we have our last flat one that is gonna go over here, kind of covering up just a smidge of the frame and the bunny's ear. Hello, Marcia and Maria. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, I did see your message about the attendance list, so that's great. 2 people reached out, and I don't believe there are any pumpkins left now. All right, so hot off the press, we have no extra kits. So if you missed your opportunity, I am so sorry to hear that, but enjoy crafting along with us because it's still a beautiful kit to watch. Okay, but we are not done yet because we still have embellishments. Now, Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin doesn't always include embellishments with their kits, so it's so exciting that we have embellishments with this kit. I don't see the take your pick tool. So I'm going to cry for just a second there because with my fingernails I struggle sometimes, but let's use the tweezer instead. Looks already cute. Love the bunnies. I love the bunnies too. Okay, so one more thing I'm going to point out. Here we have the filled in circles are the glue dots. The empty hexagons are the dimensionals, and the empty just the outline of the circles are the embellishments. So one of my favorite things about Paper Pumpkin is that it takes all the guesswork out of crafting. So right here are the 5 locations for the for the embellishments. And that just makes me so happy because I don't have to think about where they should go, and they're just gonna go where they belong. So 3 large ones. We've got 1 off to the left of that daffodil there. We have 1 tucked between those petals there. And then this third one is tucked a little bit under the Berry Burst banner. Like not as far as I just did now, but under just a smidge. Then we're going to switch to the small ones, which are even harder with my fingernails. And we're going to put 1 there, and we're going to put 1 under this corner. So there we have it. They are beautiful. You get to make 3 of this card with this kit, and it is just stunning. Hello, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us. We just finished our first card. I'm going to put it off to the side, and we're going to move on to the second one. so many things. All right, so we are moving on to the second card before we move on to the milk carton. So let's this time bring around our springtime greetings. Okay, and that is going to get stamped on our other banner, the banner with the berry burst edges and more of the petal pink surroundings. Okay, get the squeakiness off. Then this banner is intended to be tails up, so that's what that means. Bring in our stamp pad. Right, get that centered. I think I went a little low on that one, so it's homemade. It's okay. Definitely could have been up just a smidge, but not terrible. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my stamp, and this time I need to clean my block too, because I got some ink off on the edge here. Okay, so now I'm gonna move out of the way the contents from our first kit. So these can go in the spare bin for now. We're gonna bring in our, now this card base is already folded and burnished, I think because of its unique size. And we also need to bring in the big chicken panel. I love it. Okay, it's not chicken, it's chicks, but I committed. Okay, so here we are using 5 dimensionals. Thank you so much for sharing, Marcia. We're gonna do 1 in each of the 4 corners and 1 to hold up the middle. Okay, give them a nice little squeeze, and then we are, of course, just centering this. We have a non-directional card base, so just make sure before you stick it down that your fold is on the proper side. You know, you learn these things from making that mistake a time or two. All right, get that centered on your card base and stick it down. Then we are going to grab the floral wreath. Beautiful. Now, how this is intended to be used is daffodils up and down, and use either glue dots or, of course, in my case, liquid glue, just behind the daffodils. Okay, and then that just goes top and bottom around the chicks. Get that pressed down nice. Then we have our Springtime's Greetings banner that we just stamped. We are going to put 2 dimensionals behind each end of this. That is going to actually cover up the bottom set of daffodils that we just stuck down. And then we are back to our embellishments again. Again, just want to show you where they suggest placing them. So we've got a large one up here, a large one down here in the bottom, and then it looks like this is another large one as well, although these 3 may be small. It shows 3 large and 2 small, but these 3 here all appear to be small ones. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll just have to see. Okay, so we've got a large one on top of, or just above, I should say, the daffodil. We have a large one at the bottom, kind of under the N. And like I said, I'm gonna just go with small ones from here on out. So we've got a kitty corner, small one there. We have a small one beneath the farthest to the left chick, and we have a small one above the farthest to the right chick. Ah, so cute. I love it. So just like that, we have 2 cards done already. I love that. And now we get to make a milk carton, so that's interesting. All right, and look how cute it matches the envelope. I love that. Let's grab the envelope for our first card. Of course, that gingham on the inside really pops with the card. Okay, so let's put those over there. I'm going to move these supplies out of the way, and we are going to move on to our third and final project from the kit. Of course, we still have an alternative to make. So, all right, let's take this. This is the milk carton. It appears as though the first thing you might want to do is punch out these circles. That'll come in handy later. Okay. All right, and then of course clean your workstation, because otherwise you'll have circles all over the place, just like those dreaded dimensional backs. Okay, so now what I am seeing is we're gonna start like this, and we are going to run a strip of tear and tape along the farthest left tab from top to bottom. Okay. Then we are going to fold in these score lines, so the diagonal score lines. So we've got diagonal, diagonal, and that, and then now I did not prep this ahead of time, so I am going in blind. So if this is not right, we will learn from my mistakes, okay? All right, then it looks like we're flipping it over. We're putting tear and tape on now what is the back side, farthest to the right bottom flap. And then all these score lines are already on the project, so we just need to fold it all together properly. Oh, that's okay, Shirley. I'm so glad you joined us. We are just starting this special project, which is this like milk carton box. The 2 cards that we created are over here, and of course you can catch that on the replay. And of course we have an alternative coming. My brain is tinkering around with a couple ideas, so that ought to be fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and score on all of these score lines so that hopefully it just comes together. So I have pre-folded all the score lines in the direction, so basically it folds into itself. I have a feeling, okay, so these short flaps go inside, the big flaps go on the outside. So we're gonna go like this and then seal that as far as I'm guessing. So I'm gonna start by peeling the tear and tape here and do that again. So we're gonna flap the short ones in and under the big flap that doesn't have adhesive, then roll it around to the closure, and then go ahead and make sure it all lines up and press that down. Then you can peel the other backing off of your strip of tear and tape and just seal that. Again, I like to just hold the edges so that I know that they're sealing where I want them to seal, not just where they want to seal. And then because we pre-folded these in a step or two ago, this should fold down pretty effortlessly. Then when you join it at the top, I just go back and forth a little on that last score line. And now we've got a cute little milk carton. I love it. Okay, this is gonna be easy peasy. First of all, let's cut 18 inches of twine so we can close the box up, and then we'll put our graphic on it, and we can put a couple embellishments, and we're done. We did it. Now, where is, these twines are always the hardest things in the world to start. Okay, so 18 inches. We've got a ruler on the edge of the side of the instructions at all times, but I'm just going to use the ruler that's straight in front of me. So we've got 13 plus 5 is cutting here at 18. Okay, take that off to the side and bring our box back into play. And then it looks like we're just going to hold this tight and feed the ribbon or the twine through. So we'll bring both ends of the twine to the front. And then I'm gonna, oh gosh, don't have enough hands. Never have enough hands. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it. Then I'm actually gonna bring my reverse tweezer in to hold this for me so I can make a nice little bow. And my phone, I have these funny settings on my phone. I put them there intentionally that try to keep me out of apps for a certain amount of time. So it's like, you've been in YouTube for too long, but I want to be in YouTube with you guys. Okay, so I have my tweezer holding there. Now let's go ahead and make a bow. And it's going to be a pretty big bow, and it's going to have long wispy tails, which is going to be so cute. Of course, now, if you're making this, you're probably wanting it filled before you're putting this finishing touch on it, but obviously for creation purposes, I want you to see what it looks like done. So we're gonna just pretend that you've got your favorite Easter candy in here. Anyone want to shout out what their favorite Easter candy is? I do know. My favorite Easter candy are the Cadbury eggs with the caramel in it, not the Cadbury cream eggs. They're made by the Cadbury Cream Company, but I like the Cadbury eggs with the caramel in it. Those are my favorite. Okay, look at that beautiful bow. I love it. Okay, so now on the front of the box, we are going to put our laser cut bunny and chick and then a couple embellishments, and we are all done. Okay, so we are going to put a dimensional on the back of the bunny's head, on the back of the chickie, and on the back of the bunny's butt. Peel those backers off. And then move your wispy tails out of the way. And this is going to sit right on the floor. And then we are going to put 3 embellishments. So 2 large. We're going to put 1 large just off of Bunny's ear. We're going to put 1 large just off of Chickie's foot. Oh no! And we're going to put, oh, yes. And we're going to put a small one coupling up with the large up here. So there we have our 3 projects. I would love to know what your opinion is on which your favorite project from this kit is. This is a tough one. I like them all. I think I like the first card the best though. It is really stunning with all of the, I know it's hard to see on the video, but all of the dimension and the different layers. So some flowers are printed on the back and some flowers are popped up. The embellishments and the pop of color really, really makes this a beautiful card that draws and speaks to me. So I think that's my favorite. The milk carton is super cute. I would love a milk carton with Cadbury cream caramel eggs in it. Easter is just so much fun. I love the season. I love the excitement of the kids with the eggs and all that good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it, even though we have had such a bizarre winter and Easter is coming so early this year. It's really gonna feel like an odd holiday, but I am still very much looking forward to it, and this has really gotten me in the spirit of the holiday already. Okay, so now we need to make an alternative. So you guys, we gotta get creative here. Like them all. That is awesome, Shirley. I am a fan of all of them as well. But just like just like Debbie, the bunny card is my favorite. So springy. Such a fun kit. Okay, so I'm going to move these off to the side to serve as inspiration for our alternative. But I'm going to keep them out of my crafting space so I have some space to create. We are going to put the directions away because we're not using them. And then I'm going to, so now for those of you that subscribe often, couple of different things that come to my mind right away as I am thinking about alternatives. So one alternative that I am inclined to do, hello Karen, thank you so much for tuning in, is deconstructing this box, because we are card makers and sometimes you don't want the three-dimensional projects and you would love to use these contents for something on a card. Now, that is very easy to do. You would probably just cut on the score lines and have basically mini pieces of DSP. So I could see a lot of beautiful things with that. And of course, then if you're not making the boxes, you can use this piece for something else. That's one thing we could do. That is not what we're gonna do tonight though. A couple other things that come to mind. If you're not a huge fan of this special size for a card, now of course it's got the envelope, so it's kind of all-inclusive and handy. But if you're not a super fan of this unique size, you could cut this apart as well. And of course, as I always say, you can cut the envelope apart because this is valuable DSP as well, especially knowing that my little mantra is, you know, especially card makers, we're gonna likely save the cards, but 10 times out of 10, the envelopes end up in the recycling bin, which is just wasteful. So again, here we have a beautiful piece of guessing it's petal pink here, gingham. So I would absolutely deconstruct this envelope to save that gingham. But I'm going to go real lazy. And this is where I'm going to take my inspiration from this kit to make an alternative. This piece is, this gingham just is so pretty. And honestly, it looks great with the card, but it's totally not necessary. It's not really adding to the card in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do to give you a little extra mileage out of your kit is I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna cut it off of its card base. Now you can easily use this piece. Now, don't compromise any of the size here, because with this white mat, you don't want to make this any smaller. So make sure you keep this at the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 size. And now you're just gonna mount this flush on a white or vanilla or petal pink or whatever color floats your boat card base. And then you can create this card and free this whole piece up to use and get a couple extra cards out of this kit. Again, I would do the same with the envelopes, cut those pieces out and have that extra resource for your alternatives. But what I plan on doing here, so I'm going to move this off to the side because that would be to create that card. I'm going to use this as the mat for a card, and I think I'm going to bring in Petal Pink. We're going to start with Petal Pink. I'm not positive that that's where I'm going to land. Petal Pink over here. Oops. Got a little mess in the filing cabinet. Sorry about that. Okay, so either do Petal Pink. Ooh, there is a blemish on the paper, like an ultra neon speck of dye that got dropped there, so that's interesting. I think I'm going to commit to doing this because I'm going to cut it and just call it good. I want it to be a vertically open style card, so I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4 and then score it at 5 1/2. Okay, and then because this is the full size of a front, you absolutely could do that, but I'm going to trim this down to be a matted size. So this is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and just based on how this is printed, I'm probably going to trim that side off. Did not do a very good job there. Did not put enough pressure on it. Let's try that again. Okay. And now there's a little angel here. Let's trim that off. You guys! Okay, we got this. Let's see what that mat looks like and see if we have anything else we need to do here. So cute. I love it. Got 2 actually, like, I don't want to say imperfections. It's not a bad thing, but 2 flecks here. So I'm going to make this the back side. And then this is going to be the front side, so that little bit doesn't peeky out on us. Okay, so I'm not going to glue yet because I don't want to commit to anything yet, but now we're going to have to bring in some stamping. And I think what I'm going to do... Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some daffodils and then stamp a bunny and fussy cut that bunny out. Oh, I could do a cheeky too. All right, let's see. I'm going to start with the daffodil layer. Bring in some basic white. We're going to get crafty. Oh man, I remember doing this a long time ago. Look at that beautiful piece of scrap paper. Okay, so I am going to, let's see here, does this, nope. I'm going to stamp this. In early espresso. And I don't know, we're going to just go on this vibe. I hope this turns out. I'm actually also going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to stamp at 2nd strength here because I don't want these daffodils to be too overpowering. Okay, now I need this up bottom. If you had a Stamparatus, this would be a helpful time to use that wonderful tool. But basically, I'm just trying to create a repeating pattern here. of second strength daffodils. They're growing up. They're not all coming at the same height, which is okay. All right, then I need to, hi Lynn, not a problem. Always catch the replay if you're interested, but I'm so glad you joined us today. Okay, moving that off to the side. Now I'm going to bring in my watercolor pencils. Watercolor is just something I love to do, so we're going to make it work. Okay, this is the same color set. So we've got this and this. I don't know if I'm just going to use them as the colored pencils or if I'm going to go ahead and actually watercolor them yet. But I'm going to bring out Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, and Granny Apple Green. I'll start with those, and then crushed curry as well. Well, maybe. Are you in there? Oh, there's crushed curry. So, I am absolutely not an artist, so no judgment on if you don't think you're an artist. But basically, I'm going to start with the crushed curry in the cone. And then I'm going to do Daffodil Delight on the petals, and then if and when we bring some water into this, it'll start to just blend together a little bit. Of course, you can always look up pictures of the flowers for inspiration, or reference the pieces from the kit for help with your coloring and shading as well. Now I'm going to draw in those petals. This brings out the kid in you. Especially, so I have a 6-year-old and an almost 4-year-old son, and they are really into coloring with colored pencils right now, so this brings me back to some great times with them. And I was always artistic as a child, so just fond memories. Like I said, these are watercolor pencils, but you can use them straight as colored pencils if you don't have water painters or don't want to get a little crazy with the water painters. It absolutely is fine to just keep them on and use them just as a normal colored pencil. So I'm not really exactly filling in all of the spaces, because I will push it around a little bit with the water, but kind of filling in most of the petals. This glass mat works really great for coloring. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do before I bring any water in is I'm going to add just a little bit of a like sunburst pattern of crushed curry to the area where the cone meets the petal. That'll just kind of help the colors blend together. Again, I'm not an artist, so like I'm just winging it, but you also could color these in, well, in any form that you are the most comfortable with. I know some people are absolute professionals with blends. I never really got into blends. They intimidate me, if I'm going to be honest with you. So more power to you if you can or want to color them with blends, but you've got me scared off by now. I always wanted to kind of watch some YouTube tutorials and get good at it, but just hasn't happened yet. So for now, I'm sticking with my watercolors. And I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that would say the same thing in reverse about watercolors. They scare the living daylights out of you. Okay, I'm going to take a water break, and then we'll come back to the greenery. You wing it well. Well, I sure try. Okay, I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green, and again, I'm just going to basically fill in the leaf and stem portions. I'll probably bring a little garden green in, but you know, with how bright this is, I might not need to. We'll just have to see. Oh no! Coloring outside the lines. It is okay for adults to do it too. My 6-year-old gets so frustrated sometimes when he gets out of the line, and it's like, buddy, don't worry about it. Mommy still colors outside the lines. Okay, so just draw that down. All right, now I'm going to set these off to the side. I don't know if I will need them anymore or not, and I'm going to bring in my water painters. Water painters have 3 different styles: skinny, thick, and then more of like a flat brush head. I'm going to start with the skinny one and just kind of put a little water down and start to spread and blend that color. Now the water is coming out of this pen pretty rapidly, so I'm going to grab a paper towel. It is always good to have a paper towel handy when you're working with watercolor, because water bleeds, and it's good to be able to control the bleed if you don't like how something is pushing. But basically, I just put the tip of my paintbrush down and just kind of push the color around. There's absolutely nothing scientific to it. Nothing magic to it, but it just helps soften the brush strokes or the pencil strokes, I should say, and give it more of a softer coloring effect, which I love. Go down the line, finish up the rest of them. It's funny, the crushed curry, which is the darker of the yellow, actually lightens up considerably when you put some water on it. So we're not getting real much variation in color here, but I still like how it looks. So the other thing that this water is doing is it's gonna soften up some of the stamp lines. Now remember, we stamped off, so we've already got a lighter version of Early Espresso on here, which thank goodness, because it's dark enough as it is. It definitely does not need to be full strength. Okay, and last set of daffodils here. Now, I don't know that there's much to be gained from doing the stems and the leaves, but for kicks and giggles, why not, right? So just bring your wet brush over the top of it. It'll just soften up those colors a little bit. Especially, you know, here where I went out of the lines. Okay. I need one of those Magica TV moments where I snap my fingers and all my coloring is done. Thank you for your patience as I go through and paint these all. Okay. So, here's what I'm envisioning, guys. I want this on here. I want this on the bottom. I might wash a little bit of, well, what other colors do we have here? Blue, balmy blue. Night of Navy, definitely not that. Coastal Cabana, uh-oh. Don't tell me we don't have the balmy blue. Schnikes. Well, these colors are going to be too dark. I wish we had the balmy blue. Oh, is it in here? Okay, well, we just put the balmy blue in the wrong spot. I'm gonna try to, I don't want this much headspace up here, but I'm gonna start with the balmy blue up top and bring it down so that it lightens as I bring it down. Now you're really gonna see the watercolor effect coming into play. And I'm really gonna start getting nervous here because I am no professional. But let's do it. Night of Navy, is that one supposed to be in here? It is. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring the fan brush in. Bring my, let's see here, get a little water. So there's push buttons on the side that push the water through. So get the water into the bristles. And then go ahead, I like to start at the top where all the color is. And then I'm gonna smush a little more water down there. And then just start dragging it down. And actually, so now this is not gonna push as much as the traditional, so I've been using real watercolors and kind of being artsy, you know. So I like how that's looking. So what I want to do is determine how large I want that strip so I know where to start with the colored pencil and how far to bring it down. So I'm gonna start making some decisions and gluing, and I'm scared. What do you think? Is it gonna come together? We have a way of making it work, right? Okay, so get that piece down. And then I want the daffodils down here, and I'm gonna do some ribbon down the bottom. I want it to be about this thick, so I'm gonna trim a smidge off the bottom because I don't need quite so much of that empty stem space. And then of course, we see that we've got more than we need left to write, but I'm not gonna worry about that yet. And I'm gonna make this strip 3 inches. I can always cut some more off if I want, but I think what I'm gonna do here is kind of put it like a belly band through the middle. And then come back to my idea of getting some balmy blue in here. Did I put that back already? Okay, so start with darker at the top. We do have excess space left to write, so that's helpful. I don't need to worry about going off the page. And then just lighten your hand as you bring it down. And all of these irregularities will blend out as we bring some water into it. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze on the barrel again and just kind of I don't know, activate the watercolor. And then squeeze on the barrel some more and just bring that down. I just want to get just a little bit more color brought down on the left side. But there, that's our gradient. I'm gonna rinse out my brush quick. So drop in the comments. Does anyone enjoy watercoloring? Does anyone have watercolor supplies? Do you have the watercolor pencils and the water painters? Or is this just like a, no, I enjoy watching you do it, but this is not my cup of tea. Don't be intimidated by watercoloring. It really does not have to be scary or a big deal. And in my mind, now I can totally understand someone's feelings otherwise, but in my mind, it can be very therapeutic. All right, so we're gonna clean up our spot just a little bit. Now, I need some more scrap for the basic white, because I want to stamp my bunny and my chick. Oh, I should probably watercolor those too. Okay, so that looks like an appropriate piece. Now this is where I want the full strength, which is why I did the double strength, or the half strength, the stamp off. I like the watercolor effect. That's great, Mary. I'm so glad to hear that. Sometimes I feel like I'm out in La La Land, and I'm the crazy one that thinks watercoloring is cool. Oh, look, I have an extra pencil. Whoopsies. Oh, I'm going to bring them out anyways. Okay. So, let's grab our stamp pad, our black. Oh, no, I dropped my daffodils. Okay. Got our bunny. Ooh, wowzy. Stamp that guy down. Now, of course, these are going to need to be fussy cut, which is another one of those things that sends shivers down people's spines. I used to love fussy cutting, but it is not my speed anymore. I just don't have the patience for it. And that's okay. I still do it when I have to. It's not the end of the world. It's just not something I enjoy anymore. All right, so we got the bunny. Let's clean up the black a little more. Let's throw a chickie on here. Just get that cleaned off on here. Even though I know I shouldn't have done that, because that is less than half as successful as cleaning it on the chamois. I'm obsessed with chamois. We used to have a stamp and scrub. We might still have it in the catalog, but it's definitely lost its luster when the chamois was invented or brought out. And man, I can't remember a life before the chamois. That's just such a powerful tool. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my Flirty Flamingo, and all I'm gonna do on the bunny is brighten up his nose and his ears. I'm gonna keep it a white bunny. And then I'm gonna grab Daffodil Delight again and fill in our chickie, and then pumpkin pie for his little beak and his footsies. Fun splash of color here. I'm gonna add just a smidge of pumpkin pie on these texture lines as well, so that when I watercolor, it's gonna just darken it up just a little bit. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. We'll see. All right, so then we're gonna bring in our daffodil. Get a nice bright chicky going on there. Cute. Oh man. Didn't know my night was gonna include watercoloring, but so glad it did. Okay, and then Balmy Blue, I must have forgotten to put back in this box. Okay. Grab our water painters again. Cussy cutting. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. That is what I shall forever call it. Cussy cutting. All right, well, thank you, Debbie. I'm glad you're enjoying our projects tonight. Okay, so now I'm just going to soften up the pink on the ears and, of course, on his nose. And we're going to get that off. And I don't think I'm going to necessarily touch the orange of the beak or the feet. But I am going to blend in the yellow, especially to get some of that orangish in there. Okay, so there we go. Then I'm going to run my bristles under some water. Very great question, Cynthia. So, I am not using thick white. I should be, or I should be using watercolor. I didn't really think that through as so when I'm stamping off the cuff or doing like our alternatives and not really knowing where I'm ending, it's sometimes hard because yes, this absolutely should be done on thick white at the very least, or watercolor paper. You're gonna have a much better effect. I was going to show you, you see how we've got some rippling here? That's absolutely because this is not necessarily made for water, and water is made to warp things. So I'm gonna throw a black on top of this so that it kind of dries a little flatter. When I do my watercoloring, like artwork, I'm not an artist, I promise, but when I do the like watercoloring, not in lieu of card making, I always put masking tape on it and mask it to a flat surface. So like this glass mat or a clipboard, which definitely helps prevent the warping. Now, I'm not worried about this bunny because there's not a lot of water on it, but the chickie, you can already tell, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show that off or not. It has bubbled up as well. Another thing is, if you're using a dark color, the best color or the best stamp pad to use when watercoloring is a stays-on pad so that the ink doesn't bleed. You'll notice, especially like for the bunny, you can tell we've got nice crisp stamp lines. Well, the stamp lines on our chickie here are a bit more blended and blurry because the water is kind of seeping into that ink. I don't mind the look of it. It's not something that bothers me, but if I would have used a stays-on pad instead of the classic stamp pad, I wouldn't have had that seeping look. So just a couple things to keep in mind when doing watercoloring. And hello, Becky. So glad you joined us tonight. Okay, I am going to start fussy cutting. You use a clipboard. Yes, that is my favorite thing. I discovered a company called Unity Stamp Company that sells Winnie the Pooh stamps, and I am a Winnie the Pooh fanatic. And Feline, thank you, shout out, for getting me hooked on them. That's been one of the self-care things that I've been working on recently is not only stamping, but stamping and watercoloring and doing my paper pumpkins and stuff like that has brought me so much peace and joy. So when I do the Winnie the Pooh stamps and then watercolor those images, I do lay down a piece of either thick cardstock or watercolor paper, and I intentionally make the piece larger than I need it to be or want it to be. and then have room for that masking tape border, because the masking tape obviously is going to mask color from getting on there. So if I want a certain size finished image, I need to account for that with the masking tape. And then, yeah, I get it all nice and sopping wet, but it doesn't matter because the masking tape helps hold it down so that as it dries flat. So little tip if you ever do want to get into watercoloring or use the watercoloring supplies more with stamping. Thanks for joining, Cindy. We are coming to the end, so yeah, hopefully you can come back and catch the finished product. Okay, so also I'm gonna bring the pumpkin pie back and just throw just a smidge more of that pumpkin pie on here just to brighten it up and give it just a little more shading. Okay. Alrighty, let's go ahead and fussy cut out our bunny now. Let's see here. We'll be paper conservers. Now I see that I don't know where my Stella is. Otherwise, I would absolutely be Stella-ing our bunny friend. Not all of it, but for sure the tail, and probably the whiskers. So keep that in mind. I'm just gonna pretend that Stella's here tonight. Oh boy. My problem recently, or more recently I should say, with fussy cutting is the inconsistent border around it, and that just drives me nuts. Sorry, I can't multitask when I'm fussy cutting. I cannot talk and fussy cut at the same time. It's too challenging for me. So you get some dead air. You get some peace. Your ears have a moment of silence. Not too bad of images to fussy cut. It's just the whiskers and the little hairs that make it more challenging, but we can handle it. All right, so there we've got that. Now, I am... Chris is watching from not afar, from in the house. And I know this setup is fantastic. I am a huge fan of how it lays out. Kudos to Stampin' Up! For bringing out these extra special products that we can use to make our crafting space great. Okay, so I want to go somewhere in this neck of the woods, and I want it to be flush left to right. I know I have a mat, so I'm going to intentionally do that though, so that we have a little extra something something. So that's going to bring us to 4 1/4. Okay. And I want it to be down here. I want to get some ribbon off the bottom. So let me go grab some ribbon. Get our scrap pieces out of the way. Man, we've got some variety. So I'm gonna do what I have deemed the lamb technique, which is fluffling down the bottom. I think this is too light. Also, it's creamy, and we are going with a stark white, so I think we're gonna rule that one out. I really like the look of this. I just don't know how the bauble effect is going to look with the lamb technique. I think this is gonna be the winner. So we're gonna start with this, and we can always change our mind and choose one of the other ones. You know, ribbon is just gonna fight me tonight. Okay. So, to start the lamb technique, oh look. Oh, that's a repurposed piece of cardstock. We are going to run a strip of tear and tape along the bottom edge, the length of our sheet, and tear it off. And then we are going to take the backing off. Then we're going to start with our edge. We're just going to lay it back and forth, creating a weave. Now, I don't push it down to the tear and tape very tightly because I won't see what it looks like until I flip it over, and sometimes it looks bad. Sometimes I do not space it out well, or, you know, all that good stuff. So sometimes I need an opportunity to redo it. So, as I say that, this last twist, it was too short. So let's go like that and make that one longer. And then trimmer off. We need our ribbon scissors here. Trim that off, and then I'm going to have to fold that back because she's a little long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a glue dot and throw a glue dot right up top here to push that excess back on. And then the end of the lamb technique is covering up with a piece of tear and tape, but not tearing the backer off. So boom, there you go. I love it. This ribbon is the pecan pie bordered ribbon, which is beautiful and exactly what we needed here. Now that brings some dimension to the bottom, so what we want to do is level that off with some dimensionals along the top and along the middle as well, because we don't want it to sag, especially being this watercolor piece that is on a thinner sheet. Unintentionally. That was my mistake. Cynthia said that's cool. She's never seen that before. Okay, so what you may not know then is, so I'm Kelly's cousin, I am Chris's cousin, Kelly. What you may not know is I don't know who I am. And my last name is Lamb, and I don't know who invented it or what the technique actually is, but so I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if I invented it or not, but I got real obsessed with that style of ribbon probably 2 or so years ago, and I started using it on so many cards that I didn't know what to reference it as because I didn't know if it was a real thing or not, and so I deemed it the lamb technique. So there you have it. Okay, now we've got a bunny and a chickie, and I want them to be down here. And again, we're gonna need some dimensionals behind these guys. And I liked where we covered up that one daffodil here. I'm gonna bring them off the bottom just a smidge. So what you're seeing is I'm not putting him completely flush with the bottom of the sheet, but I'm also not completely covering up the ribbon, if that makes any sense. Now we're gonna put one behind the chickie. Probably wanna put half pieces behind the ears as well. The chicken, however, I am going to overlap the bunny just a smidge, and I'm going to bring it up to look like it's standing on the bottom of the flower level, which now I'm just a smidge up. So let's do this. And then I'm going to bring in my glue scissor here. So let's put the ribbon scissor away because that's the last scissor you want to use with dimensionals. I would just own it. You know what? That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. Don't know if it's quote unquote mine or not, but you'll hear some Cards by Christine followers reference it as the lamb technique too, because I did. I kind of just was like, you know what? This is what we're going to call it so that you all know what I'm talking about when I say I'm going to use the lamb technique. Okay, so obviously it would be best to put those dimensionals on before you stick the bunny down, but I didn't do it that way. So there you be. And then I wanted the sentiment to go here, and now I am really going to struggle with that because we are on dimensionals. So I'm going to need to figure out a different way to get our sentiment. I got real excited, way too excited, and should not have stuck that down before I stamped it. That was a mistake. Okay, so, oh, I'm really missing Stella. I wish she was around here. Chris, if you're watching, SOS for Stella. Fortunately, I know there's a backup Stella back here, and I'll ask for forgiveness later because I don't know if there's one hanging around somewhere. I'll buy it if I need to. I love Stella. Okay, so let's go ahead. When you use a Stella for the first time, in case you don't know, you do need to open the barrel and take this black ring off and then reseal the barrel. And then you gotta squeeze a smidgen. Where's my scrap paper? I can use this tissue paper or paper towel. Squeeze a little bit. Now I don't want to squeeze too much because I don't want to get too much into the barrel, but you'll see all of a sudden it'll start flooding into the barrel and then down into the bristles. So just start working it around until it starts coming out the barrel. And now we've got the magic. Okay, so I'm gonna paint just a smidge on the bunny's ears and on the nose and on the tail. And then I'm gonna add some Stella to the sky and bring some of that beautiful glitter down. Now, I don't want to add more Stella or more glitter, but I do want to keep moving the glitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in just a water painter and I'll basically paint that Stella down without adding more sparkle as I'm going. I'm just in my watercolor era, so don't mind me as I obsess over the watercolor details. Ah, so pretty. Okay. Add another label. Yes, I think that's what I'm going to have to do because I missed the opportunity there. Let's pop that back up. Like I said, it keeps yelling at me to get out of YouTube because I've been in it for too long. But guys, I'm working. I'm not playing. I'm not wasting time. Okay, beautiful. I'm loving this so much. Okay, so now I'm going to, I want this to say Happy Easter. Now, unfortunately, you guys, sorry, I'm like a hot mess over here. Unfortunately, so the one that would fit perfect up here is Welcome Baby, but I don't want this to be a baby card. I do want this to be an Easter card, so I think I'm going to do masking and go ahead and mask, and I am going to put probably like a circle up here. I don't know if I want... This is the exact size that I want. I am sure there are circle dies somewhere, and I am positive that there are circle dies and the die cutting machine and all that good stuff at my disposal, but I am feeling old school. Don't do this at home. Just kidding. I am feeling old school, and I'm gonna go with the fussy cutting theme. Only if I can find a piece of scrap that's big enough. That's too big. If you wouldn't believe, we have a lot of white scrap. Okay. Oh, is it gonna fit on here? Oh, look at that. Right in front of my face. All right, we're gonna make it work. Grab a pencil. Go like this. That is a really bad tracing job, you guys. I missed it. You're getting the whole experience tonight, ladies. Okay. So, speaking of joining the Be Happy Stampers, if that is something that you are interested in, if you love this stamping hobby, look at these cute. I'm proud to be a Be Happy Stampers. You get a sticker when you join the team. It's just, we have so much fun. Take my word for it. All right, so again, we are going old school, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut out a circle that we traced. I promise you the dies are way easier and better. I don't know if this is a big enough cross section or not. We'll see. Okay. That might be the exact size I want it to be. Might be a little small. Not sure. Okay, so I want it to say, this is all experimental. I want to say Happy Easter. Where? I took it out already. So Happy and Easter. I think I need it to be a little bigger. I have to waste the piece of paper. It's okay. Here, we get to do it again. This time maybe I won't be so haphazard in my tracing. Okay, so I do intend to flip this over, so I'm not too worried about how close to the circle I get. And if there's any, like, pencil marks still around it. But okay, that's a little better. Okay, so now we are going to mask and stamp Happy Easter on there. That's garbage. That goes in there. That's garbage. Okay, so I need my early espresso. And now I want to mask off the word happy and only stamp the word Easter. Now, very important step. Get the stamp very clean before you do the other part, because otherwise it is a recipe for disaster, because you run the risk of getting a shadow. I did it. It's working. I like it. All right, we are just about finished, so hang in there, ladies. Then we'll do roll call of everyone that stamped along with us tonight, and of course a giveaway to someone who is a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of ours. Okay, so because I can't be anything but extra, I'm, for the last time, bringing out my watercolor painters and my Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to edge this At first I was going to do a daffodil, like stamp this on daffodil. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want it to look like a sun. Not that there's anything wrong with a sun. And being as how I wasn't using dyes, I wasn't going to be able to matte it in yellow on a white circle. So I'm going all out on this watercolor experience, and we are going to go ahead and just put some color on the edge very haphazardly using watercolor. I love it. I love everything about it. Okay, now there's still a little bit of Stella in my bristles, which is totally not a problem, but I want more. I didn't want it to be fully Stella, so I didn't straight up use the Stella. You can use Wink of Stella as a watercolor brush, but just know that you're gonna get a very copious amount of Stella in your watercolor. So I don't want all of that in there, I just want it condensed against the end, or the edge. So that's what I did. I used my watercolor brush to push the color around lightly, and then I used Stella just around the exterior edge. Now I'm going to flip it over, put a couple more dimensionals on it, and throw it up in that corner. This is so cute. Now, I think with all of this in mind, I probably would have moved the bunny and the chick over just a smidge to the right. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're going to have a very elevated card. I don't want it to be on flat on this level, so I do need to put an extra dimensional behind the top dimensional so that they are on the same level, because otherwise if I'm putting a dimensional on top of a layer that is on dimensionals, you're gonna get sagging, and I don't want that. I love it. I'm sorry. This has been fun. What do you think? Do you enjoy my alternative? Because I really, 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 really enjoy my alternative. Okay. I'm going to bring our cards into view while I am cleaning up so that you can leave me any comments on your thoughts and feedback from. So here are the two cards that we made as part of the Paper Pumpkin kit, and here is the alternative that we made using a piece from the kit. So we're not sacrificing a piece from the kit. This is all bonus material that you get to make if you get creative about how you use the materials in your kit. And of course bringing in some other supplies, but using the stamps from the kit as well. So what do you think? I am a huge fan. Yay, we're loving it. Couldn't ask for a better reaction. Yay, cute card. Love it, love it. Better than the kit. Oh, that's the kind of reaction I like. Is anyone going to make this alternative? Do we have any brave souls out there who want to make it? Promise, watercoloring is not as hard as it sounds and looks. I am so glad that everyone loves it. I had such a great time tonight. That was so much fun. I haven't really made a card since the last Paper Pumpkin event, I don't think. It's something I'm getting more into. No, I did. I made 2 Valentine's cards. I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. I feel like it's one of those Hallmark holidays. But I did make 2 Valentine's-esque cards with my Winnie the Pooh stamps and with my watercoloring. So I did do that, but I haven't made, so the end product there was a card, but it's not card making. It's not the layers and all this other fun stuff that we as card makers view as making cards. But of course, I still enjoy doing that as well. So I hope you had a great time. Mary's gonna make it. Okay, Mary, if you make it, please share it with us. Send it to Chris via any way that you contact her, or post it on the Cards by Christine VIP page. I would love to see if you make an alternative with this, inspired by what we did tonight. Oh my God, that would make me so happy. Oh, Cynthia's gonna do it too. Okay, same. Anyone that decides to make this alternative or an alternative inspired by this, please, 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 please share with us. Okay, so I need to find the message that Chris sent me with, dun, 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 dun. Okay, so our participants that are following along with us tonight are Lynn Beasley, Amy Ponce, Laura Wood, Lori Ransom, Tracy Gruby. We've got Katie Garbish, Sherry Stewart, and Susan Bake, Linnea Bertram, Lori Kaiser, Shirley Vanderbloomer. We've got Jolene Schrei, Diana Muldoon, Christine Bertram, Barb Freund, Brenda Crudwig, Marge Haas, Sue Sparinger, Dee Serena, Roberta, and Elaine Rebeck. So that is 22 participants. So we are going to do a random number generator of 1 to 22. And 1, 2, 22. And number 6 is Katie Garbish. So congratulations, Katie. You are a winner tonight. And we're all winners when we make cards together and have a great time stamping. So thank you so much for joining along for Paper Pumpkin tonight. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Make those kits. Don't let them collect dust, and make some alternatives, because there's so much more fun to be had beyond just the contents of the kits. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope it is a great kickoff to your week, a great week ahead, and enjoy that extra day this year, leap year, 29th on Thursday this year. I hope you have a fantastic day and lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs sending